Sherman Hemsley wasn't just an actor, he was a force of nature. His signature walk, his quick wit, and his ability to deliver a perfect comedic insult made him one of the most unforgettable sitcom stars of all time. But who was the man behind these legendary roles? Today, we take a deep dive into the career of Sherman Hemsley, the genius behind George Jefferson, Deacon Frye, and some of the most memorable TV moments in history. But please click that subscribe button so we can build those views and videos up. Now let's get to Sherman Hemsley. Born in Philadelphia in 1938, Sherman Hemsley's journey to television stardom wasn't immediate. He first honed his craft on the stage, performing in Broadway productions before catching the eye of TV producers. In the early 1970s, a new sitcom was looking for someone to play an ambitious, no-nonsense businessman. That show was All in the Family, and Sherman was about to change television forever.
Henry, when I was a kid, I was always asking Mom for a brother. You know how poor we was, so all we could afford was you. Oh, George!
And that's when the sitcom world was introduced to George Jefferson. When the Jeffersons spun off from All in the Family in 1975, audiences instantly fell in love with George Jefferson, the loud, opinionated, and endlessly entertaining businessman who finally moved on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Hemsley's chemistry with Isabel Sanford, who played his wife Louise, was magic. Their back-and-forth bickering, filled with love and humor, became a staple of American television. George Jefferson wasn't just another sitcom character, he was a cultural force, a larger-than-life personality that redefined comedy on television. With his sharp tongue, confident swagger, and relentless ambition, George was the embodiment of the American dream, but with a comedic twist. He was brash, he was opinionated, and he was hilarious. But the magic of George Jefferson wasn't just in the writing. It was in the man who played him, Sherman Hemsley. Hemsley brought a unique energy to the role that set George apart from any other TV character of the time. His signature strut, a mix of arrogance and charm, became his calling card. Every step he took oozed confidence, sometimes more confidence than was warranted, and that made it even funnier. His ability to use his entire body for comedy, from wild facial expressions to exaggerated reactions, made George Jefferson one of the most physically expressive sitcom characters ever. One of Hemsley's greatest strengths was his comedic timing.
But when I watch the show, Sherman's timing is perfect. I think I'm talking fast and I'm slow. And I realize that tape retards the timing a little. It slows it down for some reason. I don't know why, but Sherman is the one who's perfect. I said, how did he do that? You know, we would all be laughing, but Sherman, he's very, very gifted and very generous actor. You can't hit a person if they don't set you up. And he set me up so that I could crack on him all the time, so I have to say, Sherman is the reason my character worked so well.
Whether he was delivering a sharp insult to his neighbor Tom Willis, engaging in a playful argument with his wife Louise, or barking orders at his maid Florence, who always had a comeback ready, he knew exactly when to hit a punchline.
Okay, this guy was at home with his wife watching television when he decided to run out for a pack of cigarettes, right? So he drove to a bar for the cigarettes, and then he thought, what the heck, as long as I'm here, I might as well have a drink. So, as he orders his drink, he notices this young, gorgeous girl at the other end of the bar. But he thinks, oh, no, she's too young for me. So he's drinking, and suddenly the girl comes over and sits down right beside him. She says, hi, big guy, want to buy me a drink? So he buys her a drink, and they're drinking, and she says, listen, why don't we go over to my place so we can get to know each other better, right? So he drives over to her place, and pretty soon they're kissing and dancing and fooling around a little, and next thing he knows, he wakes up on the sofa, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, he jumps up and he starts running around frantically, and the girl says, what's wrong? And he says, quick, do you have any baby powder? She said, yeah, it's in the bathroom. So he runs to the bathroom, gets the baby powder, and rubs it all over his hands. Then he drives home about 90 miles an hour, and sure enough, his wife is waiting for him. she's got her hair in curlers and the rolling pin in her hand. She says, all right, you bum, where you been? And the guy says, you won't believe this, but I went to get the cigarettes, and I had a drink, and I met this girl, and went to her apartment, and the next thing I knew was 4 in the morning. And the wife says, oh, yeah? Show me your hands. So he holds out his hands, and she says, just what I thought, you lying little rat. You've been bowling again.
Beyond the comedy, Hemsley also brought warmth to the character. As much as George blustered and argued, there were moments of genuine love and vulnerability that Hemsley played perfectly.
Well, I'm not much of a talker. But there's one thing that needs to be said. I love you, brother.
Oh, man, you're always doing that, stealing everything that's mine.
Say what?
I was going to toast those very words to you myself.
Whether it was his deep admiration for his wife or his occasional soft spots for his son Lionel, he made George a character you could laugh at and root for at the same time.
Well, it must be at least $100.
$350.
$350 for a watch? Nigga, please.
Sherman Hemsley's portrayal of George Jefferson was nothing short of legendary. He took a character who could have been just another loud, opinionated businessman and turned him into one of the most iconic TV figures of all time. His humor, his energy, and his unforgettable presence made the Jeffersons a classic and ensured that George Jefferson's legacy would live on for generations. The show ran for an incredible 11 seasons, cementing Hemsley's place in TV history. Just as audiences thought Hemsley had reached his peak, he returned to TV in 1986 with Amen. Sherman Hemsley's portrayal of Deacon Frye in Amen was a masterclass in comedic brilliance. Deacon Frye was a fast-talking, money-hungry church leader who often found himself in trouble, yet somehow always managed to talk his way out of it. What made the character so hilarious was Hemsley's physical comedy. His exaggerated reactions, signature strut, and perfectly timed eye rolls. His delivery of sarcastic one-liners and over-the-top excuses turned Deacon Frye into an unforgettable sitcom figure. Even in his most selfish moments, Hemsley made him lovable, proving that his unique comedic style could elevate any character into television history. Amen proved that Hemsley wasn't just a one-role wonder. His comedic timing, physical humor, and unique delivery made him a hit once again, keeping audiences laughing for 5 seasons.
Because first of all, they want the same things, the same elements that I had with George Jefferson. So I couldn't, I had to sometimes, when in doubt, do the walk. Everybody doesn't walk like that. But this so happened to take place in Philadelphia. So then made it a little easier to do that because that was what they do with Philadelphia. And I had I had a daughter. It wasn't hateful, like I was as George. Smile sometimes, and my daughter ruled my life, ran my life, so I had to be more subservient to her. And I was strict with the business deals and taking care of the church. And who are you? And I hired the preacher. And that's how that came up. Like little things I had to tone down here and brush up here. That's all it is. And acting is to me, just.
Hemsley remained a familiar face on television. He made a memorable guest appearance on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, playing Judge Carl Robertson, a powerful yet hilarious character who gave Uncle Phil a run for his money.
Judge Robertson, it's so good to see you, sir.
It's so easy to see you, Philip. Looks like you haven't stepped on the scales of justice in quite some time.
The Fresh Prince spot definitely channeled in on Sherman's talent for dishing out insults like George Jefferson did.
This is my wife, Vivian.
You've aged. And what the hell is that you're wearing?
Why don't we come over here? Dinner is served.
Benson! I didn't know you were really a butler.
And who could forget his guest spot on Family Matters, where he once again stole the show with his larger-than-life presence, playing Carl Winslow's Captain Marion Savage. Just like the Fresh Prince appearance, Sherman made a crowd-exploding entrance.
Captain!
Underling!
Well, come in. You met Harriet.
Yeah, hello, Harriet.
Hello, Captain Savage.
I'd like you two to meet a very special lady, Lois Keller.
I'm so glad to meet you, Mr. Lackey.
No, darling. Let me explain this again. Winslow is their last name. Lackey is my nickname for Carl.
Sherman Hemsley was a comedic powerhouse whose unforgettable performances as George Jefferson in The Jeffersons and Deacon Frye in Amen left a lasting mark on television history. With his sharp wit, impeccable timing, and unmatched physical comedy, he brought laughter to millions for decades and continue to this day. His legacy of humor, talent, and trailblazing success will continue to inspire generations to come. Please comment and request any other videos of the 80s you would like to see. Also like and click on subscribe to see them all on 80s Nostalgia.